All right, guys, we have got the Detroit Lions preview here for the upcoming season. Now, this one is a super interesting one. We're definitely going to go through it. We're going to jump right on into it. We're going to start with the coaching staff, which is the biggest part to me. A lot of the team is very similar to last year. Two very important parts here. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is gone. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is gone. In comes John Morton and Kelvin Sheppard for offense and defense. Really interesting. If you want to talk about high end at offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson probably the best one in the league at the time. Right now, theoretically, calling plays. Defensive coordinator could be very similar. We'll see. But another good coordinator who's been coaching up a good defense when healthy for a while now. So we're about to find out how much coordinators really cost in the NFL, how much value they bring to a football team, because, again, taking two of the best coordinators at their spots, the best offensive one, and changing it completely, and going into this new year with pretty much the same team. There are obviously spots we'll talk about where there have been changes, but a lot of the talent is still very much here. So we're going to get a really interesting look. John Morton, interesting background's been around a while, hasn't gotten that shot yet, but the pedigree's nice. He's coming from, he's the passing game coordinator over in Denver, which is a really good scheme over there as well. So he's been learning from, Sean Payton, and hopefully they step in and continues to be really good. Again, coming from a good scheme, and he's been around a long time. Kelvin Sheppard, interior promotion, just move him up from linebackers coach. He's been the linebackers coach for a while here, and hopefully he can kind of just take over and move in the right direction, continue moving in the right direction here with hopefully a healthier defense for him. So it's a very interesting little experiment we're going to get here. The market has moved it down quite a bit. We'll talk about that at some stage. We're talking three-ish points from last year, from where the Lions were last year in the market to where they are this year. So a lot of people who are very bright think the coordinator thing is worth quite a bit. So we're going to find out as we go along. But yeah, very interesting. Obviously, head coach Dan Campbell is still here. Very much a great motivator, insanely aggressive. Love everything about Dan. And we'll see. We're going to see a little bit. My thought originally with Dan Campbell was like, hey, he's probably not that good of a coach in terms of just the X's and O's, but everything else he's really great at. I've kind of moved past the point of caring about that, and I think he's just, as long as he's making the fourth down decisions and the offense and defense are humming because the people in charge are doing their job, I really don't care as much. But we'll see going forward. Again, a great motivator, and love the fourth down stuff. I just love it. But yeah, let's jump into the roster. Quarterback Jared Goff is the number one here. 2 and 3. Kyle Allen, Hendon Hooker, whoever that ends up being, is a pretty significant step down. This is a really, normally we talk about the backup and we're like, hey, he can come in and win games. I am not sure any of these two can come in and win games, especially against this schedule, which we'll talk about toward the end. It is a very difficult schedule, and two players I really don't like. Kyle Allen is supposedly the 2, and the way Kyle Allen's been playing, that is a really bad sign. And a really bad sign for Hendon Hooker as well, who, if he's not beating out Kyle Allen, we have issues. So, yeah, don't love the backups there. As for Goff, I think he's quite serviceable. I think I have him as my 12th ranked quarterback. His regular season stuff is excellent, and I'm not going to dog on him for any of that. But Jared Goff's career always comes down to the same thing, and it's similar to Sam Darnold. I think he's way better than Sam Darnold. But as soon as there is pressure, he can't handle it. You got guys in his face on every down. It's why, playoffs, threw a bunch of picks, a lot of bad throws, a lot of pressure in his face type stuff. That just happens to Jared. It was that Super Bowl, you remember, with the Patriots, and he he couldn't figure it out. Sean McVay really couldn't figure it out, but Jared Goff really couldn't figure it out on the field. Bill just ate him up. Yeah, he's got his issues, and that's okay. Again, the regular season stuff is great, and the system has been so good to him that I'm top 15 quarterback for me comfortably at 12, but any higher, and I kind of have to nitpick at his quarterbacking ability, which we're doing here. And excuse me, I'm having trouble kind of moving him up from there. Again, a lot of help here. Number one in yak by a pretty significant margin. 6.8 yards of yak per completion is a pretty good jump. Second place was like 6.2, and third place is like 5.8. So it's a pretty significant jump there. And again, his under pressure metrics are just not very good. And he's had the ability to kind of not be under pressure the last couple of years here, where the offensive line's been great. We're going to talk about the offensive line and whether it can remain good or not. There have been a variety of changes on the interior. But if the new guys on the interior aren't any good, and there's more pressure here, there's more about Jared Goff. So we're going to see with Jared. Again, I don't want to put him in the top 10. I don't want to put him below 15. I'm comfortable where he is at 12, and he's completely serviceable. And if the system continues to be good and the offensive line continues to be good, there's no reason why the play can't continue to be good. So we'll see. Running back, really good. I have this top 2. I have it behind Philly because Saquon is that much better, I think, than most running backs in the NFL, but a great 1-2. Jahmyr Gibbs is excellent, electric, just really elite in a variety of different things, practically untouchable in open space, insanely fast, just a really good back. And then you have a good backup in Montgomery, backup quote unquote, and a great complement to, they complement each other very well. You're going to get some more up the middle stuff from Montgomery, and he's really good at that. He's going to get you the yards he needs to get you. He's going to get you in the end zone when he needs to get you into the end zone. So a really good 1-2. I don't have to talk too much about the running back room here. Just excellent. You can do a variety of different things with Gibbs. You can, have him lining up in slot probably. That gets talked about every year with running backs like Gibbs, and it never really happens. I don't particularly expect it to happen, but he's capable, incredible pass catcher, and again, all that outside stuff, if he can get space, just impossible to stop. So we like the room. Craig Reynolds is the third, pretty good third as well. So really good running back room. We'll see what it's like behind the new offensive line. The offensive line is going to dictate, I think, a lot what happens with this offense, despite the fact that everything else has stayed really talented. Wide receiver, another pretty talented room here. Amon-Ra St. Brown, really great. Another one you can't talk too much about. Route running excellent, gets open very well. Good in space, just an all-around really great wide receiver. Jameson Williams, another one who's kind of growing and evolving a little bit, which is great. Last year he kind of took that step, which was nice, and he's getting more consistent and catching better, which was a huge issue early. Just insane speed. You can do a variety of different things with him. Another one, get him into open space, and you're going to have trouble catching him. So we're hopeful that the new OC, John Morton, can find a way to get these quick guys into space. Gibbs, St. Brown, Williams, we'll see. Tim Patrick is a really solid 3. Really good 3. Big guy, kind of different from what they have already with St. Brown and Jameson Williams, can go up and get catches. And then you got some okay depth. Khalif Raymond is solid. And then you draft Dominic Lovett. I think he was the 5th round. Isaac, is this just Tesla? I'm not sure. It's kind of spelled in an awkward way, but Isaac Tesla, I suppose, 2nd round rookie here. So you're hopeful one of the rookies can come in and just step up into that 4th spot, into that 3rd spot, maybe, perhaps. We'll see. But even if they don't, they are in a room where they can develop and not be forced targets and not be forced to go on one receivers and stuff. They can come in on interesting packages and be the 3rd guy or something like that, and that's really good are pretty good for development of players like them. So again, another really, really great room. The skill position group is genuinely fantastic. Tight end, Sam Laporta. Brock Wright is a solid 2. Sam Laporta is a top 10-ish guy, top 10 guy. Really talented, really good player. Gets open a ton. Another one who's probably on, like, you find him in like Kansas City or anywhere like that, and he's getting like Travis Kelce numbers all the time. Type of tight end here. Just a really great player. Another one who, to add to the never-ending talent on the offense here. So again, a really great pass catching room, really great wide receivers, tight ends, running back is fantastic. Is overall, the skill group is elite. Offensive line. This is where things get a little bit squirrely, and if we didn't get a little bit squirrely already, this is where things get a little bit squirrely on the roster itself. I am hopeful that this offensive line can still be good. My rating is really high still, and despite 3 changes on the interior, and my numbers here are going to be moved around pretty rapidly, I feel like, depending on how things go. You have 2 elite tackles. You can argue this is the best tackle duo in the league, with Penei Sewell on the right and Taylor Decker on the left. The interior changes a little bit. You lose Zeitler, you lose Ragnow to retirement. 3 new guys on the interior there. Left guard and right guard, rookies. 2nd round guy, 6th round guy. That 6th round guy is a little bit down the board. We'll see what that looks like. 2nd round guy, you're hopeful a guard in the 2nd round can step in and play pretty good football right away. So I'm not like looking at the right side of the line and thinking, just yet. Left side, we'll see. Obviously, you're getting your 6th round guy there. Again, it's a bit of a stretch to come in from the 6th round, that kind of talent level, or the NFL perceived talent level, and kind of just jump in and start in a really good O-line and play really well. That being said, they have a veteran at center, not a great one, in Graham Glasnow. He's not been very good, and it's a giant step down from Ragnow, who is like the number 1 center in the league. His retirement really messed with things here, but you have a veteran in the middle and a 2nd round guy at right guard. You're hopeful that you can, the right guard again steps in, the left guard in between an elite left tackle and a veteran at center. You're hopeful that meshes pretty well. I'm hopeful that meshes pretty well. And I think it will. I don't expect this offensive line to like fall off a cliff. Personally, we'll see about interior pressure. That would be the biggest thing, and run blocking in the middle there. Blocking, I got run blocking and pass blocking, Kurt. We're just gonna have to wait and see. It's that simple. Again, I'm hopeful that this can still be a very good offensive line, and I'm hopeful of that because the left tackle and the right tackle are so elite, and that's normally where where you get a lot of the great stuff on the offensive line comes from the tackles, and the majority of everything comes from the tackles. So I'm hopeful that this can still be a good unit, but there's a downward turn here that could be potentially really bad. The interior is just not good. It's not gelling. The left guard's getting run over. Glasnow, who's been playing really poorly for a bit, had a really bad year last year, continues to have a bad year. Interior pressure just is not good for Goff. He's not super mobile, and he struggles with pressure just in general. So there's a world where this tumbles quite a bit. So we'll have to watch for that early. But again, I'm hopeful that this can be a decent line. Onto the defense. This is another interesting group, particularly on the defensive line, where there's a ton of talent and a ton of injury questions. Hutchinson comes back. He was excellent, elite before he got hurt last year. Looks like he's going to be ready week 1, ready to go, and hopefully he can just pick up where he left off. and just continue going. He was getting sacks. And again, you just hope he can just pick up where he's going. Alim McNeill, another really, really good young player who won't be back until a while. We're looking November, December-ish. You're hopeful he's back and he's getting acclimated before the playoffs, should they get there. But really talented, really good. So hopeful that he comes back this season. Then the rest of it's kind of, okay. Ozurike's pretty good. He'll come in. DJ Reader's pretty good. Nothing spectacular there, but solid enough. Davenport is the rest of the offense. The rest of the pass rush is just not great. Davenport is not particularly well. Pascal is not particularly great, and he's also hurt. Muhammad is okay, pretty decent, but that's kind of it. And the depth isn't great here because so much of it is sitting. So much of the talent is just not ready to roll right away at D tackle. And then again, Hutch is coming back from a major injury. So again, when this D-line's fully healthy, going to be really good. Holding itself over for the first 3 months of the season, 4 months potentially, until like McNeill comes back and Hutch is like fully back in the game, might be a problem. We'll see. Again, I think Hutch is going to be okay, hit the ground running type guy, and I think they got enough inside. My worry is about the other edge rusher spot, but I think they can hold their own in the other three until someone hopefully breaks out on the other side, or McNeill comes back, and just hoping that those things happen. But again, I think it's really solid from the get-go and potentially could be pushed over the top with the return of Alim McNeill further down the line. Linebacker, for me, this is a really great room. Jack Campbell was a borderline top 5 guy last year, and he's really young. It's his second year it was his second year. Was last year his second year or his rookie year? Last year was his second year. And you'd think he continue to grow into his third year here. Linebacker is one of those positions that take a little bit in the NFL to kind of get going for a rookie, and for him to be where he is after a year or two is a really good sign, and potentially looking at, in a year or two, one of the best linebackers, top 3 consensus linebacker in the NFL. He was that good last year. Anzalone, another one who's really, really solid. Missed games last year. Again, there's a theme here on this defense, and we all saw it late last year in that Commanders game. Just too many injuries late in the season. It gets you. They pile up. But again, when everyone's healthy, they're really talented. Anzalone was there. Rodriguez was really great when healthy. One of the top 3 in terms of run stop for a linebacker there. Just a really, really good player there. And then Barnes is solid, and he's the 4th guy. He'll be playing while Rodriguez is out, and you're looking at Anzalone and Campbell and Barnes. It's a good group with a potentially really great linebacker coming back as well. So, really talented. Really like this group. Really, really like it. Secondary is an interesting one. Safety is elite. This is probably the top duo in the NFL with Kirby Joseph, who was PFF. Again, PFF not an end-all, be-all, but just in terms of looking at some of that, Kirby Joseph was their top-rated safety last year. And Branch was a top 5 kind of guy. So we're looking at 2 top 5 dudes in the same safety room. Just a genuinely really great room. Not much you can say there. Corner is a little bit different. It's okay. Carlton Davis leaves, but DJ Reed comes in. That is a pretty good swap for me. Meek Robertson's okay. And then things kind of get a little bit shaky. Avonte Maddox has been injured quite a bit, but he's a pretty good 3 or 4, decent enough depth. You're hoping Terry and Arnold or Rakestraw take a step here. Both rookies last year, both genuinely horrible. Terry and Arnold was really, really bad. And again, corner is we can speak candidly, he was young, he's a rookie. And corners are really difficult thing to kind of jump into the NFL and get, and he was asked to do quite a bit. but really bad. And Rakestraw was really bad. So we're hoping someone takes a step there. Anybody taking a step to like up to like a number 2 corner type guy, and all of a sudden this secondary is like genuinely elite. If any of those two can kind of take that step. If not, you're looking at an okay corner room with elite safeties, and that's still solid. But again, there's a pretty high ceiling here if one of those two can just make that step. Whether one of those two does make that step, I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. So there's the roster. Again, very, very similar to last year's. We're looking at, some of the same injury stuff, and hopefully everybody's healthy. And the interior O-line is the real big difference anywhere on this roster whatsoever. So again, last year it was a really good roster. Got hurt toward the end. Happens to pretty much every NFL team. You're hoping it doesn't happen again, and you're hoping the coordinators are ready to roll. So we'll definitely see. This is a very interesting team. Again, I'm above market here by a little bit, but willing to move up or down depending on a variety of things here. I think my Lions number is going to move quite aggressively pretty quickly in one direction or the other. So we'll see. As for the schedule, really nasty. This is a really, really difficult schedule. We'll talk about our future bet at the end, but it prevented me from playing any division. Even though I have value on division and conference and playoffs and all that stuff, the schedule really prevented me from doing any of that. You start at Green Bay, really tough, obviously in division. The divisions are just really tough in general. If Chicago are somewhat competent, all of a sudden both of those games become difficult. You go at Green Bay, Chicago at home, and then at Baltimore is really difficult. And Baltimore have a habit of beating the Lions. Then you get Cleveland at home. You get a little bit of a stop there. Hopefully you grab a quick win, easy win. And then it goes right back to it, man. At Cincinnati, at Kansas City, home to Tampa Bay, which beat them last year. So you're looking at a really tough start. And, it doesn't get easier after the bye. Minnesota at home, at Washington, at Philadelphia. There are, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 games here. If you're 5-6, right? How many games are here? There are 10. There are 10 games here. If you're 5-5, you might be a really good football team still. At Green Bay, at Baltimore, at Cincy, at Kansas City, at Washington, at Philadelphia. There are 6 road games there that if you lost, it wouldn't even look bad on a regular schedule. The only issue is here, they're all on the same schedule, and they're all in the first 10 games. It's really nasty. Things come back a little bit here. You get, after the Philly game, you get the Giants at home, Green Bay at home, Dallas, and then at the Rams, Pitt at home, at Minnesota, at Chicago. And again, we're talking if Minnesota's good, if JJ steps in and he's good, if Ben Johnson over there has fixed Caleb Williams, these are all 6 really tough potentially. At the Rams is tough. Again, Dallas will be good on offense. Pitt should be winnable at home. So again, just a really nasty schedule. It's prevented me from doing a variety of things I wanted to do. If this schedule was slightly easier, we'd probably have some Lions conference and some Lions division, but it's just so difficult to get behind the way the schedule is set up. It is really, really, really gross. Even if this team is good, it is capable of missing the playoffs because of how tough the schedule is. But if this team is good, I think they will make the playoffs. There are some spots here I like. You get Minnesota at home, Green Bay at home, Giants at home, Dallas at home, Pitt at home. There's some winnable games on the back end for sure. And I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to not play those futures we like. And if they start 4-6 or 5-5 after the Philadelphia game, we're betting some Lions. That's probably the time to jump in on the Lions to make playoffs, to win the Super Bowl, win conference, all that fun stuff. So we will definitely see from there. But we do have a bet. We have a bet for all of these, and this one is Jared Goff to lead the NFC North in passing touchdowns, plus 180. That is a $2.31 bet for us in our challenge. We played this for a variety of reasons. One, JJ's an unknown, and I'm personally of the impression, we'll talk about the Vikings at some stage. My early impressions on JJ say he's probably going to start just slightly below what Darnold was for them last year. And we'll see what that means. They have a good running back room. They have good receivers and things like that. But in terms of keeping up with this offense in the passing game, might be a bit of a struggle. Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson is a complete unknown, but if he turns Caleb Williams into a 30 touchdown kind of guy, it'd be a really big feat, and genuinely kind of just put your hands up there. Love is capable for sure. Again, he's had 2 years ago, he had a 32 touchdown year. Last year he had 25 and missed 2 games. Love is certainly capable, and I think that is the competition here. But again, Goff, last 3 years, 29, 30, 37. And again, if the interior of the offensive line's not that good, then the running game near the end zone is going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be a little bit tougher for Montgomery to push through the line. It's going to be just a little bit tougher for a couple of those things. And in scenarios like that, you're more likely to do a couple of other things, a couple bootlegs or some drags or some outs or some running back screens and just things like that. So I think there's a chance that even if they score less touchdowns this year, there's a higher majority of passing ones, depending on a variety of different things here. Again, the room is super, super talented. But if the offensive line's as good as it was last year, then they're going to score as many touchdowns probably as last year. And then he's probably just going to end up getting close to 35 again anyway. So we'll definitely see. It is definitely interesting, but a really, really fun team and one to watch really early next season.